I might just quickly talk to what the kidney is associated with. If you think about it's water, you think about the story within your body of water, bringing the germination, fertility. If you want to stay fertile, if you want to maintain potential, you need to have that water. Just imagine that water chi. Yes, there's all these hormones. It's like there's a huge association of the sex hormones with the kidney, water, energy. And so if your mind needs that, really go with that and really make that association. Then sometimes it's nice to just fall into the metaphor of the elements as well. And so think if you've got water sitting there with reservoirs and you're doing a really good job at sustainably releasing that water up so that it can make the tissue nice and moist and nice and lubricated, then you're going to have fertility all over your body. That means regeneration of cells. And that's why we're quickly touching on herbs like the yang herbs, especially, which increase the yang within the body, which mobilizes the water, allows that germination and that happen. That's why when that happens, what do you have when you're fertile? When you have fertility, obviously you have new life. Obviously you have regeneration going on. From that yang, there's stamina and potential that comes about. So therefore it's the deer antlers and eucomia barks and cordyceps that are associated with that. But for your own fertility, look at the water management and look at sustainability in your own lifestyle. If you're unsustainable with your energy, if you're unsustainable with your money, and I really hope that everyone knows that when I say these things, I don't have them all sorted out in my life. I'm definitely...
Does anyone?
Well, no. Some of these things I talk about, I'm really struggling with myself, and just hope everyone's able to just take this as theory, basically, or something we can all work within, work not necessarily towards. But it's really nice to go back to that journal. What aspects of your life are really sustainable? Look back on how you partied. Look back on how you didn't party and express that summer. That's another thing. For those of you who want to get the most out of this season, maybe it's not in harmony. Maybe you didn't go full fire, which we always assume it's the other. We always assume that people aren't resisting the winter months, but of course it's going to be the other way around. So look at sustainability within your life. That's going to be the way that you're actually going to be able to maintain fertility. And that means libido, sexual vigor, sexual capacity, sexual fluids, and the capacity to regenerate sexual fluids. These are all things that, how sustainable have you been with sex? Too much? Not enough? There's no answer here. And that's something that I think is you see an aversion towards sometimes with Taoism, because they're like, it seems very rule heavy. You're allowed to have this much sex, not this much sex. You can't ejaculate, so on and so forth. These are all just really loose suggestions, especially from a civilization that really liked things to be like really defined. But you just take them and you just work them into your own.
Well, the distinction too is Confucian versus Taoist. And the Confucians were quite rigid and the Taoists had a lot of the rules are based in qi. So it's about qi cultivation. I think that's what I've always found really interesting is if you look at what the Confucians contributed, which was they were society structure, and then you look at what the Taoists contributed. So I have found in my experience with the teachers of Qigong that I've studied with and learned from, some are very loose. It's like go with the flow, find your own form, feel your body's fluidity. And others are really strict and really regimented and really rule-based. And Master Chio, who I've learned the most with, when he speaks to sexual cultivation for men especially, he's like, younger men, go for it. Like you've got heaps more to spare. But as you get older, you need to be more mindful.